Hello, starseeds, earth angels, and lightworkers. Many of you are claircognizant. Now, some of you are dominantly claircognizant, yet others you have a bit of a mixture of claircognizant or with clairvoyance or claircognizant with clairsentient. The challenge when it comes to claircognizant with a lot of people that I've worked with is they have trouble understanding it, learning how to embrace it or to work with it or to increase their channeling capacity as a claircognizant. So I wanted to make this video, so excited to talk about this ability, and these tips might help you become more better, efficient, and empowered claircognizant. So let's dive in. So tip number one is to work with time bending. And when I say time bending, some of you might be thinking about the animation Avatar, and bending time. It's very similar in the spiritual quantum realm, but have to do with time. So what happens with a claircognizant when they have a download or an activation or message from their higher self and guides? It comes like a stack of magnet vertically like this on top of each other, and it's like shoo. And it can happen in like 2 seconds. Everything can happen very fast. And what happens with claircognizance sometimes is they doubt themselves because it happens so fast. They might question, am I doing something wrong? Am I not listening to my guides? Is my ability blocked? Well, what I find a lot of times is claircognizant, when I really work with them, they're actually very good channelers, but they just haven't master how to work with their claircognizant yet. So if you're receiving messages as a claircognizant, I want to affirm to you that it's working, your practice is working. Just a little bit of fine-tuning and harnessing will help you become more efficient. And so what happens is sometimes when you get a download, these messages that come as a stack takes time, right? Oops. To unfold, right? Each week, like week 1, you might get like an unlocking of this layer of the message. And then 2 weeks later, you get an unlocking of the next message, and then the next message, and so forth. Once you attune yourself to learn how to time bend using your multi-dimensional consciousness, then you are able to, in that moment, unzip the file. So those of you that know software, right? It's like when there's a huge file, it's zipped into this file. You have to double click it to unzip it. So it's something like that, but on the level of your consciousness. Is once you get all these downloads, learning how to time bend will help you unfold the message one by one a lot easier. And so how do you do this? The first tip is to learn how to work with the 0-point consciousness, which is tip number 2. The 0-point consciousness is going to help you get into a state of being as though time completely disappears. So for example, in a lot of activational classes that I do, it might be half an hour, 1 hour, but when we finish the class, a lot of people was like, that felt like 10 minutes, or that felt like just 15 minutes. Time itself bends, right? The way we experience time from the perspective of our consciousness changes. So if an hour-long meditation can, in our perspective, feel like 10 minutes, you can do and apply the same thing to your claircognizant downloads. It's getting into that 0-point state of being. When time seems to melt away, you'll be able to now unlock these messages a lot easier. Now, this does take practice. When working with the 0-point consciousness, I do work with the 0-point consciousness in some of my courses, like the Wingmakers Light Codes Initiation. I also, if a lot of people ask about it, I can do some videos, and I'm sure you can search up some videos that other master teachers have done on 0-point consciousness. The experience of 0-point consciousness is as though you're in the center of the infinity symbol, when both sides, right, the duality of light and dark, feminine, masculine, yin and yang, comes into a state of neutrality. Right in that center point where everything becomes neutral, everything is balanced, everything seems to melt away, and you're in this state of consciousness as though time does not exist, as though time itself has stopped for you. And it is in that state of meditation that you can unfold the downloads that you have gotten, maybe from your guides or from your higher self. So this does take practice, right? It takes practice for an initiate to get to that point. So try not to be too judgmental towards yourself if you have not reached that point yet. But at least setting the intention to understand and practice being in the 0 point consciousness. You can do this by joining a mentor that talks about 0 point consciousness, or a guided meditation that guides you into that state of being. You can also, when you work with a guided meditation or a mentor, what happens is they've created that field. And by you joining, you're in that field with them. So you get to learn what it feels like to be in that frequency. So you can do that with a mentor, or you can do a self-activation, maybe through a guided meditation, for example. Number 3 is write. So like we said, time bending, right? So when the message comes, it happens very fast. To learn how to slow down time or stretch that message out, writing is very good for a claircognizant, because you're taking these thought forms, or it takes you 1 second to think of one sentence, but it takes you a few more seconds to write it out. So in this act of writing itself, you're learning how to take information, right, that comes in 1 second, and translate it and expressing it, manifesting it out as a sentence. So now you're practicing with your consciousness to slow down time and manifest it into action, writing it out. You also, in the act of writing, connecting your upper chakras to your heart and your body. Your body is a medium, right, when you're channeling. So your body needs to learn how to channel as well. It's not just your consciousness, it's just not your spiritual centers, it's also your body needs to adjust to that frequency. So when you write, you're creating a cohesive, harmonic experience for your soul, your mind, your body, your heart, to come as one unit to work with each other. Another way is to record your voices. So I always advise a lot of my students who is claircognizant, who is learning how to channel, to just pick up your phone or something when the download comes, or when you feel a message is coming forth, an inspiration comes to you, talk and record it. This will also practice, again, your body becoming and learning that channeling frequency and expressing it out. So that's another way you can practice. Another way is automatic writing. You can start by asking yourself a question, getting into that state of channeling, and once you receive that zip of download, start writing. Doesn't matter if it's like the same word, like love, love, love. Just keep writing the word love, and then you get more information once you tune into the frequency. Love is surrounding all of us. Love is in the beauty of our eyes. Love is in the air that we breathe. Love is seeing the interconnectedness between all beings in this realm. Things start to come to you as you channel. So I find that with claircognizant, when people ask you a question, you become that master consciousness. So ask yourself a question in your journal and then practice how to channel that in writing form. Number 4 is you can also use quantum spiritual energetics to help you, which is called light codes. If you want to learn more about light codes, please check out my other video where I've explained how to work with light codes and activate light codes in your spiritual journey. The 2 codes that can be really helpful for claircognizant is the void portals. So the void portals works very similar to a 0 point, but more like in a portal state. The void portal in itself, once you activate it and once you work with the guardians that work with these void portal system, it also allows you to learn how to time bend, right? So for example, I work with these, I call them the void guardians. They open and close portals for me when I'm doing spiritual healing, right? The portals open and any key energies that I'm releasing out for the client or any astral parasites or entities that we're releasing goes into the vacuum of this portal. And when we're done the session, we close it, right? So I do not work alone. I work with these void portal guardians, right, to help me because they're in that realm, right? That's their mastery. They're better at closing and opening portals than me. So by working with these void portal guardians, working with these spirit guides or angels, then it helps me understand how time can work in the quantum spiritual state. Trauma can happen to us in the past. We can be carrying these energies, but once we're in that state of 0-point consciousness, plus the void portal, time melts away. So I may be, just for an example, working with someone for 1 hour, but in that 1 hour, quantum spiritually, we have done so many layers beyond just 1 hour of work. So that's how we become more efficient as a channeler and as a healer. The second type of light codes that work really well is the Metatron codes. So Metatron is cosmic mind, cosmic consciousness. So when you work with the Metatron light codes, it activates your cosmic consciousness and it helps you tune into your multidimensionality. It helps you tune into the macrocosmic scale of multidimensionality. And once again, it helps you understand how time works, how vibrations and frequency works. So then you can now slowly tell the subtle changes and differences in your channeling. When it comes down and you get to feel, there's a vibrational shift, right? When you connect with Mary Magdalene, it's a different frequency than when you connect with an elemental dragon. As a claircognizant, you now are able to sense it through your mind, through your consciousness. So for light codes wise, those are the 2 light codes that I would recommend working with. Number 5 is connect with your heart. So here's a little humor. I'm going to put in a meme right here. So your claircognizant has a consciousness too, right? That is a part of you. So if you're constantly looking, I wish I'm more clairvoyant, so I wish I'm more clairsentient, or I wish I'm more like this person or that person, your own claircognizant is going to feel a little left out and be like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? Why do you want to be more like that person or this person? It's not to say you can't have those abilities, but it's important to embrace and love your claircognizant ability so that you're not trying to focus on something, right, that you don't have or feel like you don't have and feel as though something is missing. When in fact, your claircognizant is already a very powerful ability and it's a strong indicator that you are an advanced, or shall I say, a soul that have key codes to activate higher consciousness. So in that way, it's a very wonderful ability to have. It's not something to feel ashamed about. I hear a lot of claircognizants says, I wish I'm more clairvoyant. But then I explain to them, clairvoyance have its strength and weaknesses too, just like claircognizant. It's all in the way that we understand and learn how to work with the nature of our clairs. That's the most important. And it also comes from our heart. The more genuine we are when it comes to empowering ourselves and helping another person, the more we are able to tune into our frequency and speak to source, speak to the higher beings, and receiving messages to empower ourselves and heal others. The other tip I have for you as a claircognizant is to learn to activate your clairsentient to support your claircognizant as well, or work side by side with your claircognizant. So train your clairsentient, your clear feeling. For example, using the breath. When you inhale, bring the breath in, up, acknowledge, thank, and send love to your claircognizant, and then exhale, send the breath down to your heart, anchor in, connect them together. Or another way is go outside, right? Find a tree. Trees are very claircognizant and clairsentient. Put your forehead on the tree trunk. Don't care about what other people think. Then place one hand on the tree and one hand on your heart. And just breathe. Breathe and experience that tree as your mentor, guiding you into the 0-point consciousness. Do that for a few minutes. Do that regularly when you go for a walk and experience the difference in your practice. You start to gain, wow, there's so much wisdom connecting with the tree that no language can express. You would just get all the messages from the tree in this 1 second. You would just sometimes cry from the beauty of it, and sometimes just get so healed and cleansed from connecting with the trees. It is not a coincidence that our ancestors connect with trees. Our ancestors understand the beauty within the elements. So we're here to practice that, to reclaim that. Number 6 is working with an appropriate high-level spiritual guide. So some example is Cryon and Lee Carroll, Abraham Hicks, for example. They are very claircognizant, but they have reached that mastery level where they are able to channel, right, these higher beings, these higher consciousness through their own voice. Is that so? Instead of just Tiffany's brainwave, Tiffany's vibration and frequency, when you master another like being's consciousness, you can channel it much more easier. So this is an innate talent of claircognizance. You guys are able to do that, right, as one of your innate ability when you learn how to harness it, master it. So that's something that you can learn to practice by watching and listening to these people that already mastered the skill itself. When you tune in to their state of being, they are already channeling, right? Let's say Lee Carroll and Cryon. They have the frequency already. When you're in their bracket or in their field of vibration, your mind start to get, ooh, this is an interesting frequency. It start to activate. It start to learn. Your quantum particles, your quantum cosmic consciousness start to tune into that opening of frequency as well. So learning to work with guides are also something that can help you master your claircognizant. Now, that giving said that, you have to connect with a higher consciousness that you trust, that is pure, that is service to others, to merge your consciousness with them, right, while you're channeling. So this is something that you can practice. It might be a little bit hard in the beginning to do so. One resource that I can recommend for you to begin with is the book called Opening to Channel by Sanaya. In that book, she gives you some examples of how people channel, right, with their guides, some questions and journaling questions that you can use, which I feel is very coherent for our video today that can help you activate your claircognizance. So I hope that these tips will help you, right, embrace, learn to love, and learn to harness your ability as a claircognizant. Let me know in the comment section, are you a claircognizant? Do you have other abilities as well? And what are some things that you love about being a claircognizant, and what are some challenges you're experiencing? I would love to hear from you, and perhaps it will help me create a video that can help address some of these questions in the future as well. I'm here to help with what I know with my best ability. So thank you for tuning in to this session today. And if you want to learn more, please feel free to check out my website. I do offer sessions, courses, training programs, and much more. Thank you for all the work that you do, And know that we appreciate you on behalf of humanity, respect you, and deeply, deeply love you. Much love. And go out there, shine your light, work your magic. I'll see you next time. Bye.